Nerd Lag Game Club.
Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast, the podcast where we play games instead of reading books. I'm Corey, and I'm joined by three party members today. Lauren.
Hey.
Tonsa.
Yo, 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 yo!
And Dan Boy.
Hello.
In this episode of the Game Club, we're climbing the floors of a massive tower and playing 2006's Ys Origin. Ys Origin was initially released on December 21st, 2006, and was developed by Falcom and published by both Falcom and XSeed Games. Falcom has developed a ton of games, including a bunch of games in the Ys series, the Legend of Heroes series, and a sleeper hit for Lauren, Tokyo Xanadu. Before we get any further into Ys Origin, I want to give the spoiler warning, and I would recommend playing this game before listening to the episode. There is a lot that is going to go on in this episode. This was our game for the month of October, and I'm going to give a brief summary of the story for Ys Origin. Our story opens up with two goddesses of Ys, Fina and Rhea, as they mysteriously disappear from their home in Solomon Shrine. A search party consisting of members of the Holy Knights of Ys are sent to the ground, so the Solomon's floating in the air, and it is sent to the ground in search for the goddesses. We end up leading ourselves into a giant tower, and the story goes from there. You have the option to play as two different characters when you start the game. You can use Unica or Hugo. So I went with the Unica route, and then Hugo has his own story. They kind of like intertwine a bit, but I don't really know anything about Hugo's story, so I won't be talking too much about that one. Yeah, so each episode we break up the main points of the games between us, and starting with gameplay and mechanics, Tonsa is going to tell us about those for Ys Origin.
I mean, this is a typical action RPG. In a way, I'm gonna say button masher for me, just because me playing as Hugo, and I just sprayed the attack button. You have three different skills, and I don't know. It's weird because I don't know how to describe your guys's. So Hugo, you get three different skills. You get a shield bubble thing, mines, and then fire spins around you, and then you get a boost that does boost damage and spray farther. I don't know what your guys' skills are.
For Unica, you have a spin attack, which is the first skill you get, so you can spin in a circle really rapidly and do damage like that. It's almost like being a top. You can kind of bounce off the enemies that way. Then you get a ground strike. Is that how you would describe that one, Lauren? The yellow skill?
Yeah, you use almost like a hammer type of skill that when you hit the ground, it shoots up almost like lightning.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard to explain, but it does massive damage to armored enemies.
Yep.
And then the last skill you get is Unica's dad's sword's special ability, and you can shoot they're almost like arrows of fire from the tip of the sword.
Yeah, when you use the charged one, it looks like a phoenix flying out of it.
So that's what our two skills are, and then our burst that you get up later in the game, it basically it has a big ring, a big orange ring that appears on the ground. Anything in it takes rapid hits. At I think at my level I was doing 58 a hit, but it hits every third, I don't know, it's every second or something. It's really fast. It does a ton of damage.
That's basically it. You traverse through the levels, collecting collectibles that are power-ups, armor boots, and then ruby. Are those the same? Is it emeralds? Topaz or however you say that.
Topaz,
ruby,
emerald, and rubies.
And then the fucking fruit you give to the ruse. Can't remember. It's
Rondu fruit.
Yeah,
Rondu?
Ronda's fruit. Rondos.
Bro, it's Roda. There's no N in there.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Rhoda?
know.
Rhoda?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of strange names in this game,
Yeah,
so we're
that's what I was
going to
gonna
say. Oh, yeah.
butcher it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also it's like the more like when I'm playing it, it's fine, and then it's been like a couple days, and it's like how I was reading it is probably, or like how I pictured it in my head is like gone.
Outside of that, there's a ton of bosses in this game. So as you progress through the floors, there's typically like a boss with either like a massive creature or like another human character. You get those pretty commonly throughout the whole game, and a lot of those bosses, I think they overlap, but there are bosses that you guys have that we don't.
I didn't know that.
It's only one.
Is it just the one?
Yeah.
Because I know, like Dan mentioned.
Well, technically, I think it's only one. I'm looking right now.
Yeah, because Dan mentioned it the other day when I was talking to him, and I'm like, never fought that person.
Yeah, and then you fight somebody twice that we only fight once.
Did you have anything else for gameplay?
No, I mean it's your I don't know, typical action RPG.
Yeah, and as I guess you can mention the fact that when you go around the towers and you defeat enemies, you get XP, you level up, makes you stronger. You can the statues will let you buy upgrades for your character. The only thing that this action RPG doesn't really have is like new weapons. You just upgrade the weapon you start with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, technically you're gaining weapons, but they're your skills.
Yeah, but it's your actual weapon. Ours does change when we switch to the fire skill, because we switch from using our battle axe to using our dad's sword.
Yeah, the like Crimson Lotus blade.
That's cool. I didn't know that was your character's dad either.
Yeah, so it's a pretty neat little addition. But okay, let's move on to art design. So Lauren was going to tell us about the art design for Ys Origin.
So I was telling Corey this. When it comes to Falcom, there's not a lot that's like out there art-wise. The same teams work on most of these games. I mean, they all worked on that one, did the Arc of Nepotism, Oath of Felghana, Memories of Celceta. So the games that were on like the PSPs, the Vita, and then some of the newer stuff too. Pretty much the same team across the board. Some of them also work on the Trails of Cold Steel and, other Falcom games. But the one guy that does the art scenes that are in there, he did work on those games I mentioned, but besides that, he does visual novels. That's really what he does outside of video games. His name is, I'm sure I can't pronounce this right, but it's like Tai Shunsuke?
It's probably better than I would have said it.
Shunsuke?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Something like that. So I thought that was good. He does the art style, like the art scenes for all those games. I'm sure he probably does them for the newer ones. He is so hard to find on the internet, though. Like, it is really hard to find unless you just find that artwork and that's it. Or a couple visual novels.
Yeah, you can find like concept art for all their games and stuff. I mean, I've been a big fan of like XSeed and Falcom like for a while. Like I own probably most of their things. They all come with like art books and like so the art's there. Just finding somebody that's not the whole entity, like singling them out would be difficult with a Japanese company.
Yeah, from what I was reading, like, I know the newer games, like the PS4 games, come with art books, like you said. I guess the older games didn't, so they ended up releasing a book that has all the concept art from the all the older games all put together. It's like $40. You could buy it.
I do. I'd like to point out the fact that the game, that since you kind of didn't really mention it, the game is like 32-bit. So it's like a newer, like, looking, like, Super Nintendo game, if that makes sense.
Definitely. It does not look like the newest games. It does not look like 8 or 9. It is I keep referring it as an older JRPG like art style, but I wouldn't say like old like East 1 and 2 is newer looking than that.
Yeah, it has almost like an RPG Maker look.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen any of those games, it does look really good though. Like the
Oh yeah.
cutscenes are nice and stuff. It's just kind of I just wanted to point that out because most people think of Ys and they think of like 8 and 9, which are like full 3D experiences. That is not what we played.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we played like a hybrid.
Yeah, it's a
Like
action
2D,
RPG,
3D.
but it's like that more like old RPG style.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Up next is sound and music. So Dan is going to tell us about the sound design and music for Ys Origin.
All right. So the sound and the music for Yeast. So yes, I don't know where to go with this.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. The only thing I really got here is What is it? What is Falcom's like actual thing? Not Nihon.
Neon. Yeah.
Neon.
Neon. Falcom. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. They have their own special team, I guess, designated to doing the whole sounds for like all their games, which it's just Falcom Sound Team JDK, and they do the work for like all their games, like all their sound in every single game. They have the same studio, same people, just going at it, and then they will go back to like older projects that they've kind of like they worked on for like older games that they kind of just like tossed away, and they'll kind of bring those back to like put those into newer games, and it's all kind of interesting. Then you also have another guy who's a freelance worker named I'm gonna mess this all up. Yuka Hiro Jindo. I don't know. Totally messed that name up.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
he's a freelance worker, like composer, and I guess he works on a lot of Falcom games. Like he's basically just contracted by them to just help them make some sounds and songs for them for all their games. Like it's mostly just Yeast. What's the other game? It's like Heroes something.
The
Like
Legend of the Heroes.
Legend of Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Work on those ones as well.
Yeah,
Pretty
it
good.
sounds really good. Yeah, sounds really good in this game. It's I don't know. It's like it ramps up during boss battles. It when you're exploring the world, they do a pretty good job of like atmospheric sound.
Yeah,
I will say, whenever I think it's the water place where you have to kind of, you have to get the little item to help you breathe underwater longer. That part, I think it's that part. I don't remember exactly. The music in it reminds me of, I think it's the water levels from Super Mario 64. That's all I could think about the entire time.
Yep.
That's like those like really there's like those parts in the games that are like sort of like tensiony, like oh man, like we're explaining about what's about to happen, and in the background it's like almost like a weird upbeat dubstep, and I'm like, what is going on back in the music? Like it just doesn't really fit. But then like the more you sit there and you listen to it, it's kind of like, no, this actually works here. This works here.
Yeah.
I was streaming this for a good majority of me playing it, and that was like the one thing that really stood out when I first started the game, was just like the sound design. Like it sounds good when you're attacking enemies. The music really brings you in to the story, and I think the story takes a little bit to take a grasp of you, but the music definitely brought me right in. So then I was like, I'm into this. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would say even in the where there's the enemies that blow the bubbles, like it makes a good like bubble sound and stuff. Like I thought they did a good job of sound.
Oh, now that you say something about that, the little like slime enemies. There's like all the different variants of those.
Mhm.
They make like a little like droplet sound whenever they move, and it's like as soon as you enter into the area that they're in, that's all you hear just constant is like water droplings constantly, and it's so annoying.
I couldn't hear it over just blasting fucking attack. It's like fighting in a ship when you're playing Hugo.
All right, let's move into the next stage of our podcast. See what I did there? See that? See that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
we're gonna talk about. All right, we're gonna talk about anything that made an impact. So, does anyone want to open up the floor? Is there any bosses you want to jump right into?
How do we want? Do you want to just go through the bosses?
I think the bosses are probably the parts that stand out the most outside of like story moments.
I
Hey,
guess
can I
Okay.
say something before we do bosses though?
Yeah.
I like the cutscenes when they're like anime, like
Yeah.
Corey literally said streaming as soon as it started. This is why Lauren likes this game, because of the anime cutscene.
Yeah, because
That's how every single one of their games is.
I know, and they're so good.
it like opens like an anime intro. It's like the weirdest,
Yep.
like out of the blue kind of thing. Because the rest
All
of the
of
game,
yeah, all their games do that though.
Yeah,
All of them
even the
have
Legends of
anime
Zelda.
beginning cutscenes.
yeah, and then like after that, it's just like normal. Like it doesn't really have that vibe anymore.
I think I'm just
Yeah.
used to that because even like the trails, like Tales of like Arise and stuff, like the new ones. It's like they open. And it's like, dude, you could have just made this an anime.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's it opens like an anime, and then you get those cutscenes throughout the game that are done really well, like graphically. Like there's one
Yeah.
that shows like the rise of the tower. There's like the one towards the end that shows like the tower connecting to Solomon's Shrine. Like they're fully animated cutscenes instead of like just your dialogue and people moving around in that 32-bit. So credit to the art team on those.
Yeah. So what I think we should do real quick though is just go through and do, just parts without bosses. And then we'll do bosses and story at the end. How about that? Like
That
I want
works.
to talk about like Devil's Corridor, like because I know we have a different. Me and Dan did something different than you guys. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah,
I thought
let's-
like me and you did something different. Like
No, like they
Fair
did,
enough.
like
What?
them
How
as
do you
Unica. They play like the Devil's Corridor. You can't progress. Like it hurts you. Like the sound from the like oh god, what is that called?
well, we don't really know where it's coming from in our game. You guys, it's
You
coming
don't
out of
pass
an
it on
or-
your way up.
Well, you
Yeah, an
notice
organ.
it, but that's not like your character doesn't even like talk about it. She's like, "Oh, this is like some weird devil-made noise," is basically what she says.
Yeah.
I think that's what you say when you like walk past it. I clicked on it like originally when I was on my way up and was like, "What's this?"
But
I'm so sorry. Where are we talking about?
The
You
Devil's
guys,
Corridor.
I don't know the name.
That's the one where you can't progress. It it hurts you as you walk through the area.
Okay.
yeah,
We get a hammer to break the organ. They play a harmonica.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Uh,
when you
Unless
enter,
you didn't do that, I don't know. Now I'm confused what you did, Dan.
No, that's what I did. I thought. Never mind. Just go ahead.
so when we enter that area, basically Unica says like, this noise. It's like makes my body feel weird. She's like, "Oh, I don't know how much I can deal with this." If you try to play the harmonica that Lady Rhea gives you, like, is it Rhea or Fina that gives that to you? Fina? Because you're supposed to give it to Rhea.
Yes.
Sophia gives you a harmonica. You go into that room and you play it. You're trying to play the song that they played to you when you were a child, and you don't remember it exactly, so it doesn't do anything. And then you find what is a rue, which is like a dog.
Demon dog or something else.
Is that what you would consider that?
I don't know. It speaks ancient language. So
It's
Yeah.
like it is a demon because they say something about it, but I would say it's like a mixture of a dog and a kangaroo. It's like
Yeah.
small and kind of like a kangaroo, but kind of like a dog. It's weird.
So if you go a little bit into Devil's Corridor, you can come outside on a balcony. The Roo is there. You give him one of the fruits, and in our game, he knows the song because they were actually like the pets of the goddesses. So they know the song that she used to play. So then it plays the song so that we can learn the song. And then when we come back into Devil's Corridor, we can play the harmonica again. And this time it gets rid of the noise in Devil's Corridor. It like changes the direction is how they kind of explain it. Of how the noise like comes into the room and out of the room. So that is how you do it with Unica.
He gives you a hammer, you go smash. And then
Which
walk
that
back in.
I can figure out. That took me so long to figure out.
I died running back out.
Yeah, so in the like beginning of the game, you get that item that lets you fast travel between like the statues, you know?
Mhm.
I didn't know that let you travel to any of them, so I didn't use that until like halfway through the game. I just kept like running like back and forth between everywhere. And so I kind of forgot that was an item, so I kept trying to like run through like as fast as I could, and I just kept dying.
Same. And then Corey's like, it tells you the beginning of the game. I was like, yeah. Then I was like, I also started this game like 3 months ago, like on my own, without like before the podcast. I was like, I don't remember the beginning at all.
Yeah. But yeah, you get the hammer, and then you make your way back to the last statue, and then the one girl pops up, and she's kind of like talking to you, like one of the like bad people is talking to you, and you can like, she can either give you a hint, or you can just kind of be like cocky asshole like you are, and just tell her like you'll figure it out yourself. Then you go to a room where there's a bunch of like organ like pipes connected to like pillars, and you have to go and break one of them. But it's like, I don't know what makes you be able to break them, because you only have to break one. And it's like, I clicked on like all of them, and it was just like, oh, like there's organ pipes connected to these, and there's music coming out. And I just clicked on all of them, and nothing would happen. And then eventually it's just like, oh, this one has a crack in it. And it's like, why? Like, I already clicked on this one like 5 times.
I'm kind of glad that we didn't have that.
I just went back to like the one I interacted with on my way there.
I just like our version of it a bit better.
Well, yeah, there's some differences that like I think the final boss is different for you guys, a little bit different for you too.
Lauren, did you have anything that's not boss or story related? Well, it could be kind of story related, but
I don't think so.
I like the environment changes throughout the game though. Like even though we're in a tower, there's like a floor that Dan mentioned that's like water. There's a floor that's like magma or fire. There's the sand level. Like, well, it's a couple levels of the floor, but it's sand that you can like fall into, like quicksand. There's like the mirror room towards the end. There's like the ice room, and then like in the
one
sand,
that's like poison coral or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was underwater, but no, not underwater.
it was like your stereotypical scary like woods is what that reminded me of. Like it's all
I don't know. I
decaying.
swear it played like water music from like every other game.
Yeah, but there's like that one where there's like these weird shrimp things that shoot bubbles at you. And they
You also had electric fish things. You're telling me that wasn't water this whole time?
I don't think it's water.
It's not water.
There's no
It's like
reason.
poison gas, like or something. Because like if you watch the plants, but it's like, why am I fighting a plant and fish monster on land?
Yeah, and then like the first couple of floors are just like normal tower, like it's just like brick.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that they changed that up, even though we're in a tower. This game loves towers because you're in a tower, then you go to the little side tower, and then you go to the other portion of the tower. They just love towers.
It is a tower.
Yes.
But I don't really think I have anything else outside of bosses.
Same.
Yeah, I guess we could start with bosses.
All right, so do we have a list of the order that we face them in?
I mean, they're out of order. You encountered bosses after like we did.
Oh.
Because like ours is like Aponia, the head like fucking I don't
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe him. The guy you shoot his brain like once he's like
The guy,
like the one you jump on top of.
Somebody just pull up a list of.
I have a list. I can't.
Oh, okay.
Like Velagorn Gondra. I don't know. I don't know what his name is. The abbreviation is the Gangly Beast.
Yeah, just call him the abbreviation.
Yeah, just call them the abbreviation.
The
It's fine.
Gangly Beast.
So you guys start with Epona.
Yeah,
We start with like that weird bat demon.
that's our third one.
Yeah, we start with the bat demon.
Yeah, where he like it's like a demon, and then once you get him to like half health, he starts like teleporting. Well, it's not really teleporting. He like transforms
He just
into a
flutters
bunch
away.
of bats, and then there's like he can go into like multiples,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do damage to
Yeah.
either set. But it's pretty easy. I think it's mainly for us just to learning the basics of the game.
Right.
Yeah, he's our third boss.
That's interesting that you guys face him so late, because I felt like that boss was really easy.
Same.
Once I got like the shield upgrade, it was like a cakewalk.
And then you said you guys do Epona first, which for us, Epona's a little later in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and we face her twice.
Yep.
Is it the same? Is it in this? It's in different areas then. So you guys face
So
her
you
first?
yeah, so you guys verse him like kind of the same things. Like they're the same like areas. Like floor 7 is good old centipede guy or whatever it is.
Everyone's favorite
Tiger.
boss.
So is it just the small bosses and the characters that we face out of order?
Yeah, like we fight like Total Fact, which is your brother.
Mm.
And then you guys fight this Kish gal, which is with Eponia. We only fight him once.
We fight him. We fight him twice, but the first fight with him, you don't have to win.
That's our Total Fact like fight. Our first one with him.
Is his name Total?
Yeah.
Total. I keep calling him Total. That's how I was reading it. Because like he's like Hugo Fact, and I was like Total Fact. And then the dad's something weird too. Yeah, so it goes like centipede guy, like Total Fact for us, gear arm guy, mage dude in the annex tower, plant thing, bug thing when you get like demon powers. I don't know if you guys get demon powers.
Mantis.
Yeah.
We do not get demon powers.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Kish gal. Yeah, and see, this is where we're gonna have different things. Like, so Hugo gets like tempted because he's like an egotistical, like wants power to beat his brother, and so he's like Sasuke, basically.
Yeah.
And he wants power. He runs into the final boss, The final boss is like, I'll give you a trial of demon power. I promise you it won't fuck you over. And it fucks you, it fucks you over.
Yeah.
That's interesting because we have the lack confidence, build confidence story for
Yeah.
Unica.
Mm.
She's an apprentice knight. When she gets there, she like is exploring on her own. She's achieving like a lot of things, but then she realizes like she's weak. All the other holy knights kind of treat her like shit because they're like, you're not strong enough to be on your own. Like, you can't do this by yourself. Like, you need to stop doing this. And then we have like that stereotypical story where she feels guilty for letting letting Lady Fina get captured. And then she's like, I don't even think I want to be a knight anymore. And then that's when you like talk to your dad, like he's like a ghost on his sword.
Yeah, and we run into your dad too. We're like, we're gonna take your power from your sword.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gives us that power, and he like tells us like we know the answer to like our confidence. Basically, like we're also considered weak because we can't use magic.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's like that underdog story with Unica, basically. Like someone that shouldn't be as strong, but ends up being the strongest because she like works with her strengths and ignores her weaknesses, basically.
Yeah, Hugo's pretty much like kind of like a douchebag, like Sasuke. He's out for revenge against his brother. Wants to be like the best. Gets like his ego shattered, and then has just been trying to like figure out his like place in the world. Like why he does everything, because everything's been done like set in stone by his family.
When do you meet Unica? Because we meet Hugo like pretty late in the game for the first time. They talk about him, but we don't actually meet him.
Because I think in our story, Unica is the one that like gets separated during the
and
whole
then Dino after they beat up.
Well, Dino goes to like find her, I believe.
Yeah, but when we meet up with everybody, they're not there. And then I want to say it's after the Gear Arm boss guy.
Yes, I believe so.
I think it's before the annex. It's right before the annex, I think.
Because we meet him like right before for Rado's annex, like that side
Yeah,
tower
it's
too.
probably like the same part then.
But like leading up to that, they basically tell us like, "Hey, Hugo's here, but
he's a dick."
basically like he doesn't like to do things with people, so like he's just doing his own thing."
Yeah, it's basically the whole thing.
Okay, so let's even though Adam we'll just not go in order. We'll just talk about each boss individually. Let's talk about that Velagander, the gangly beast. So basically, it is a massive creature that has a face as his pelvis, and once you stun him, you can run up his arms, and his like helmet that covers his brain pops open, and then you can attack his brain. He also shoots out these bugs that if you let him swallow, they will heal him. But a very easy boss fight for me. I actually beat this first try.
Same.
I think I died once.
Yeah, he just like shoots like poison like gunk at you. That's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's pretty basic. He has like a laser thing where you can like zigzag and run from it.
Yeah, I feel like that boss was easy.
Yep.
This is funny because this is the only boss I remembered from when Lauren streamed this like 2 or 3 years ago.
Same. I also was like, oh, that must be later in the game. It was like first like hour or two.
I made it all the way streaming that game all the way until the final boss, and I never fought it.
But for us is like the bat guys next. I just want to say you guys like had the easy. When he turned to that bat form, he just shredded my health so fast. So it just all I did was go out and I found an emerald and like came back and beat him.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
for us, it was just staying away from him when he was flying around.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he like landed in his like full demon form, we could just beat the shit out of him. And there was like nothing that he actually really did to us.
Yeah, he was pretty easy too.
I felt like a badass because our first 3 bosses, I beat 2 of them first try, and I died to the bat guy once because I was still trying to figure out how to play at that point. So I was like, yeah, like I got these bosses. They're in the bag. And then our 4th boss is the stupid centipede.
Fucking hate that thing.
I don't even know. I don't know how you say his name. Nightilger?
I don't know. I just called it a tiger. Like when I was reading it, I was like the tiger.
My favorite thing about that boss is I came downstairs at like 5:30 in the morning, and all I could hear is Dan fighting that boss going, "What the fuck?"
Because he was so stupid.
He was so mad, and it went on for a little while.
Yeah, until I beat it.
Definitely the hardest boss in the game.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's apparently the consensus with the whole community. That's the hardest boss out of the whole game.
And I don't
I
think...
feel like there's no like rhyme or reason to it.
I weirdly had a non-boss encounter be just below that in difficulty.
I with this centipede though, I just felt like sometimes I would get trapped like between it and the column like tower thing that it wraps around.
Yeah.
And my health would go from full to like 5.
Yeah, it took me a while to. I couldn't figure out what was causing damage.
Yeah, and then
Because like sometimes you could ride on his back, no damage, but then like as you get farther away, it's like, is it because like the open wounds I'm standing on? I'm like trying to figure out why I was losing.
Yeah, and then later on, he's walking around the tower. He's turning into this big old like ring that spins around while dropping like 4 billion poison like bubble things.
That's what made that hard.
And I'm like, there's just so much shit in the way, and it's such a small little area. It was pretty frustrating. I mean, I ended up doing the strategy of taking out his back closer to his head and working to his tail instead of the other way.
I did the other way.
Just because that seemed to work better for me. And I took less damage the further away I was from his head. So I was like, alright, this is the way I'm going to do it. But yeah, most difficult boss in this entire game is the 4th boss for us. And then we have our 5th boss, which is Kishgal, which is the one you don't have to win.
Oh yeah, it's our weird. That's total fact.
Where it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it still advances the story.
Yep.
This is when Lady Fina gets captured in exchange for us not dying.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's cool. And then next is the big fire golem construct that has like gear arms.
Another super easy boss.
Galaddy.
So it was easy, probably the easiest boss. But I got there at level 21 and I was doing 1 damage at a time to him.
Oh, that sucks.
I almost broke like one of his arms. Like that's how good I was at this boss. And then I ended up just letting it kill me, and then I went and grinded for 4 levels, I think. Yeah, I think I was like 25. And then it was no problem. I was doing like 16, 17.
Yeah. It's weird how that game was like that. Like, I think after one point, I was just over-leveled for everything.
Oh, I was never over-leveled.
Except for when... I'm just going to mention it now. Where you have to kill those things to get the ring powered up. I did 1 damage to them. And I was trying to pull all of them at the same time and kite them because I didn't want to take it took me so long to kill one. and then I would have to put the cloak back on and like recharge my health, and then I just end up toughing it out and doing it that way instead of trying to fight them all at once.
Oh, can I mention something about that now that you brought that up?
Sure.
So that ring, you charge it. It's an evil ring. If you put it on, you die.
Were you wearing?
Well, I accidentally wore it, and then I charged it, and then I died, and then I was kind of in Tonsa's predicament where I was only doing, I think, 3 damage at a time. So I had to kill them all over again.
That's what I was.
And then my dog walked in, like as I was doing this, and like snuck up behind me. I had my headphones on. I was like real into it, trying to focus, and he scared the hell out of me. And then I stopped playing, and then I died again, and then I had to do it all over again. And then because I died, I didn't notice that I didn't unequip the ring, so then I did it again, and then it killed me again instantly.
My favorite thing is, so I beat them, like saved, walked into the annex door, and was like, oh, I just gotta equip the wing, died. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you have to wear like 2 different items at the same time. So you
have to use the gift from Rico. The curse remover or whatever. It's how you clear the save statues.
But yeah, so I did the first time I did that part 2, Dan. I also was wearing the ring.
You'd think you had to.
Yeah, to absorb the power. But you don't. You just have it in your inventory and it's fine. But then I killed the last one and then it did like 9,999 damage. I just instantly died.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, cool. Love that.
Time.
There's that boss before that. There's only one in between. And that's that like Genocress, which is for us is summoned by I don't know what her name is.
Zava.
Yeah.
Zava? Is that what it is?
Zava. It's like Zava.
I love her as a character because she literally refers to us as a bitch the whole time.
Oh,
She like hits on you at the end. It's pretty funny. And your dude's like, I'm not into middle-aged women. It was so good.
Yeah, every time we see her, she's like, oh, I'm going to end you, you little bitch. And I'm like, okay, all right.
It is funny how this game would just like, it's like kind of innocent, and then out of nowhere, it's just like, you'll see some vile shit.
Yeah. But this boss fight had to have been a cakewalk for you guys.
It was pretty easy.
Because this boss is in a circle arena, and he has like all those like little statue things that he like summons. And he kind of hangs out in the middle of the room. So for us, like me and Lauren, we're melee attackers. So we have to get close, which is where all the projectiles are, the fire. We have to get pretty
close too.
And such. So us coming in, we're pretty much guaranteed to get hit by something. I felt like as a mage, you guys should have been able to stay a little further away.
No, not really, because the way like it was, at least the way the fire and everything did, and you had like the distance isn't that far, but it was probably easier. But we still had to be pretty close. It was a lot of just jumping. You had to jump and attack him a lot. At least for me.
We had like the little pillars that would like shoot out fire. They'd shoot out like the little orb things.
The tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the tornadoes, which were annoying. And then I think he also did like electricity, like spikes on you. Well, not spikes, but like little shocks.
Yeah, it's like that real big ring.
Yeah.
But this one took me a handful of tries, but I ended up getting it once I kind of figured out like its pattern. I almost felt like this was more RNG for this boss though, because it was like depending upon what it shot at me, it was like how much I was going to take damage wise. So the time that I beat it, I think he was using like mainly the fire and those electrical orbs, which I was able to dodge easier. And I mean, everyone's different probably, but those are the two that I could dodge the easiest. So the time that I beat it, I was like, I still had like 150 health or something. But like leading up to that, I died a bunch because the tornadoes would screw me all up.
Yeah, I think at this point I was a little bit of a higher level. Hey, well, while we're at this kind of point, what do you guys do to petrify your knights?
We find Hugo, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives us like a replica, the Black Pearl.
Okay.
And then we have to like take it back, and Lady Fina like charges it for us with like that little shrine statue thing.
So that's kind
It's
of
about the same.
yeah. So originally with us as Hugo, you stroll over to that area where they're all like petrified, and Unica's kind of sitting there, and then you kind of tell her that you don't really care about it, like it's not really your problem. And
You
for
tell
her,
her you don't know, so you're like, go see was it is it? I don't remember how to say her name. Candice or Candice or the other sorcerer girl with you.
was it not?
Is she knew? Is it Kadena? It's been a while.
That's
I know it's
I'm
something
not
like
sure.
that.
We don't.
anyway.
But it tells you to go to her, and then she's
Yeah.
mad at you because you just basically like, I'm gonna keep going. Like, go figure it out on your own.
But she gets mad because you're supposed to be like the super intelligent, super good like sorcerer, and she's like, "You don't even know how to like fix any of this. Like, what good are you then?" And he's like, "Well, I don't want to waste my time with this." And she's like, "This is wasting time. This is not wasting time. This is saving them."
Yikes.
And, yeah, and then she goes up to like the big room where the one empress is or whatever, and she's talking to them about the little statue thing, and then you come up as like Hugo with like the replica, and you kind of like give it to them, and then you just kind of leave.
Which our brother gives it to us randomly. He's just like,
Yeah.
hey, like, you're not strong enough, whatever. I don't remember even what he even says to you.
Well, we see as Unica, we see Toll and Hugo like on a balcony, and they're having like a conversation.
That would have been then.
And basically, like Toll tells him like, "You're fucking shit." And then
Yep.
and then he turns around, and we like pull our sword out, and he's like, "This is not something you want to do." So then we like step aside and just let him leave. And Hugo's like, "Here, take this," and then he just like storms off like an asshole.
Oh, see, we like meet back up with you after like feeling guilty, and he gives us like a lecture, and we go back to you, and we're like, "Here you go." Then we come back, and then you guys use it, and then they're free.
Yeah, because we have no idea who Toll is.
So then you guys don't see the scene when they get petrified?
No. Nope. We just walk up to it.
No, whenever we walk up, they're already like unpetrified. Well, they're petrified and unpetrified.
Yeah.
Like time.
Yeah, that Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
he like shows up, and they're like, we like surround him basically, and we're like, oh, we got the upper hand, and then he like teleports out of the way, and he's like, oh, you guys, like, you guys can't really do anything. Like, it doesn't matter what you try. Like, I'm so much stronger than all the holy knights. And then for some reason, he leaves us not petrified, and he petrifies everyone else.
I mean, we kind of got the gist of it because you kind of find out about Dallas being there. And then I think Unica kind of told you that he did it.
Yeah, well, Ponyo like warns you about like some of his abilities too.
Yeah.
All right. Next boss is the Clonclar, the man-eating creeper, which is Lauren's favorite boss in the whole game. Go ahead, Lauren.
This the one with the sand?
Yeah.
Yes.
God, I hate this boss. So,
This is easy. This is a breeze.
both times that I fought this thing, I hated it. I don't even know what it is, like a freaking plant or something. There's like these little plants that come out of the sand that are like, they almost remind me of starfish, but they're not
Giant
starfish.
eyeballs.
Yeah, and you have to kill them or it helps the plant like revive or whatever. Well, heal. So you go up, you fight it a bunch of times, and you get its health down, jump on its head, attack its eye or whatever. That's how you kill it. But then there's freaking bullet seeds that come out, basically. There's sand, like, waves that come at you. I hate that boss. I hate it so much. I struggle on that more than any other boss.
That's Lauren's centipede.
Yeah, by far. When I fought the centipede, the second time anyways, I leveled up, went in, and it took me about 5 to 10 minutes, and I was done with it. Like, this was way worse for me than that one.
Yeah. The only thing I really had with this is like I went in, wasn't doing like any damage to it, went back to my save file, realized that I could upgrade my weapon again. Upgrade my weapon, came back, beat it first try.
Yeah. I think at one point, one of my deaths was I just was like, I want to die, so I could. I think you were texting me at that point, and I was like trying to reply. So I was like, oh, I'll just die real quick and just do it.
When like one of the few times I see Dan play this game, this is the boss that he was fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would attack the base first, then the eyes, and then just jump on his head.
Yeah, if you take the base out, he stops shooting the bullets. He stops doing the sand
Doing the
waves.
sand.
Yeah. And then you can just go and beat up the starfish.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
you attack him first, like the base, like of him.
Yeah, it doesn't do any damage to his main health. It's like stuns like his lower half.
Yeah, he won't like attack you. Then you hurry up, kill the starfish, and then it just drops. I think I beat him in like real fast.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so I basically like right after as soon as it came back, I would run into the corner and just kill him because you could hit him from the side of him, and less of his attacks would get you from that angle. And then I would just stun him again and then go back to beating up the starfish.
I have no idea.
So pretty easy boss fight. Then we move on to Picamos, which is the Graham Mantine, which is like the big praying mantis looking thing.
Yep.
Which super easy boss fight. Annoying that he restores health with those little green creature things.
Yeah, I was under leveled going in.
The things I thought were goblins. I was over leveled like this entire game.
Not me, man. I was doing like no damage. I think I sat here for like 10 minutes fighting him, and I only got him down to like half health.
Damn.
Yeah, like I had him basically. I Dark Souls boss fought him because I just memorized all of his motions. So when I beat him, I took like 50 damage the whole fight.
All right, here's another split in the story. Like, so we get like demon powers at this point, and like we like blow this guy away. And then after that, Bisa, oh god, what's her name? I knew I should have listed, had a list.
Oh, the one sorcerer girl?
Both of the sorcerer girls come up, try to talk to you, and you're basically like possessed, and you're like, I'm gonna kill you bitches. Like, and then like when you're about, like, you blast them away, and as you're about to give you the final thing, Aponia comes up, and Aponia the whole time, this whole game has been like, you two kind of have a thing going on.
She just refers to us as a hick the whole game.
You actually have like, she talks to you. You have like a relationship with her. This is why at this point I wanted to bring this up, is you're doing all this stuff going on, and then like she like kind of fights you because she's trying to stop you from killing your friends, and then she gets you to break your. Go ahead.
And she doesn't want you to like go to the whole demon darkling side.
Yeah. So yeah, that happens. Like you're, like she like breaks you from your thing. You finally are like free. Like you're like getting your sense. You like go check on your friends, and then that Dallas guy, he like petrifies her for betraying him, and then she like dies in your arm, and you have like a really sad moment because like You could tell they liked each other.
We have a sad moment, but it's a little later.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
But that's like our thing right there.
We fight Epona, and she just refers to us as a hick all the time.
Yep.
But we fight her almost immediately after the Mantis.
Yeah, it would have been right after that is when, like, that's why I brought that up.
Yeah, we don't have demon powers, though, so.
Nope.
I don't
Fair
think we really get to use them, do we?
No.
It's just like a cutscene.
All right, and then next up is Zava and her two skull head things, Yoglex and Amugun.
We fight Keshkol right after.
Yeah.
You don't fight Zava here?
Not right on. No, not after that.
You guys fight Epona, we fight Kishgal.
Yeah, and we like basically because that's her brother, and then you like fight him, and then he basically is like, you know, I'm gonna fight you either way. Like my sister died for like a dumb reason, or whatever he's talking about. Then afterwards, you like part ways. Is like he's like, I'm gonna let you do your thing, keep her trinket she gives you, and blah blah.
So
Yeah, there's like it's a lot of story stuff right there.
Yeah, because we fight Epona, nothing really comes of it all that much. And then we fight Zava, and
Yeah, we fight that fight right after.
she traps us in like a magic trap, like a snare.
Mhm.
And Roy comes up, which is one of the Holy Knights. He's like like the one that was like training us.
Yeah.
And he gets us out of the trap, but he's basically getting hit by magic the whole time he's doing it. And then as soon as he breaks the trap, she hits him with like some crazy magic spell, and he gets shot like out of the arena, like that we're in. And then we immediately pull our sword because we're like free now, and then we have to fight her. And this boss fight is just such a pain in the ass. Not that it's difficult, it's just
you got to double jump every 2
they're
seconds.
just so annoying. The one tries to suck you in all the time. The one shooting like laser beams at you, and then she's just flying around like shooting these little bullets that were doing like 3 damage to me, and I was like, get out of here. But is there anything else about that boss fight, Lauren, that we should mention?
No, I mean, I struggled with it at first until I got the burst ability. Because that's right when you get it, and then it was pretty easy after that.
Oh, the burst ability makes the last couple bosses an absolute joke.
Mm-hmm. That's better.
But after we finish that fight, we go check on Roy. And then this is our like intimate moment where he like dies in our arms, and he gives us some like necklace thing that has his last bit of life, which you can only use one time, but if you're wearing it and you die, you come back to life. Like, it's like a resurrection. I'm assuming it's the same item, just from two different people. And then we fight Kishgal after this.
We fight Toll.
Yeah.
Kishgal shows up, because Kishgal is the one that killed our dad. Like, when our dad was, like, on the surface, Kishgal's only goal was to get strong enough to kill him, which he achieved after 3 battles. So then we see him, and we're like, hey, we're gonna avenge our dad, and he's like, oh, you're fucking pussy. Like, you suck. And then he turns into, like, his demon form. And I beat him first try, because he's terrible. Did you struggle with Kishgal, Lauren?
The first couple times, yes. After that, I finally figured out the way to go about it, and it wasn't too bad after that. I killed him pretty quickly.
I killed Kishgal with no strategy. I ran in and I just started beating the shit out of him with the sword and the fire, and then as soon as my like burst meter filled up, I would just use it on him. So, how's your guys' fight with Toll here? Is he demonic?
He turned, he gets like a Is it a second phase or I can't remember? If you fight him,
Uh,
then he turns into like the demon form. And he's like, "I'll give you all I got," or some shit. At this point, like Hugo's like matured a bit, so it's not as like
He's not as arrogant.
yeah. So it's like you beat him with like your power. You like won't use your demon power.
And then
but I don't know. It's kind of rough, kinda, I guess.
is Toll
I don't
hard
know.
to fight?
Like,
He just dashes. Like he's like in your face
and
constantly.
just like flashes like constantly.
Because a Kishkal is like not hard.
He just did that ice ability when I fought him. But
Yeah.
like I said, at this point, I'm pretty over leveled.
So
Never
going
be
into
me.
the final boss, what level were you? Do you know?
Like 51.
Oh, I was 49. I'm in exactly the same level as the boss.
It's also 49.
I think I was 50 because I think I beat Tool and I was 48, and then whenever I beat him, it put me up to 50.
So, who wants to take on Dali's the Deranged, the very last boss of the game?
All right. So I'm just trying to think of if there's. So you go up there. He taunts you, taunts us about trying to bring out our demon form. Then he's like, "I'll force you." You break it. Or the goddess, Fina shows up, and then they helps each other. Then you like everybody gives you power or something, and you fight the boss. Like how you guys encounter him at the end?
Well, when we get
Like,
up
is it like
there,
similar?
originally, he has Lady Rhea, and then he has like a magic wall that we like try to attack at first, and we can't get through. And he's like, you can't break it. You're gonna need some hella strong magic in order to break this wall. So then we're kind of just standing there, and he charges up this like massive spell, like that he's about to kill us with. And then Fina shows up with like everyone, and then save us. They put like a shell over us, basically.
That's basically the same.
And then Fina and Rhea combine powers to destroy the wall. And then we get like sucked into like a separate dimension sort of,
thing.
because no one else is there.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part.
And, and then he converts himself into this like giant weird like godlike creature, because
I couldn't tell if he's like a wannabe mech thing or
I don't
remind me of like a Gundam there for a minute.
He kind of does, because he like puts out those like little weird little gun dudes that like float to the sides of him.
Yeah.
But this is like every old school like RPG where like the final boss can never just be the human form. It's always like he turns into some like god creature, and then you have to fight him that way. This is a 3-phase fight. The first phase is an absolute joke. The second phase, you just have to take his like shield down using the correct skill, which is also kind of a joke. And then phase 3 is the hardest, which is where I died. Like the couple attempts it took me to beat it.
What was phase 3?
Phase 3 is where like the 2 guns come out and you have to destroy both
and you
of
have to kill the
them.
guns. Okay.
But then he has that weird like big circle that absorbs you, and if he catches you in it, he hits you with the laser beam.
Yeah, I died to that once, and then once I knew just to dodge that thing, it was pretty easy. The second phase actually took me longer because I didn't realize how. Like, I just had to basically stand next to him and activate an ability. Like, I didn't know that. Because it's just a blue like, shield, and I didn't understand that I had to go put my shield bubble thing on and go stand by it, and it ticks 1 damage, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like the other ones, like make sense when it's like orange to use my fire one, and if it's like yellow, use the mines. But the blue one, I just assumed it was just a shield, and I was like, "How do I break the shield?"
Yep.
You just gotta stand by it, like with your thing equipped. So that was the hardest phase for me because once I figured it out, it was easy.
Our yellow skill shows up purple.
Yeah, it had me so confused. I was like, why is it purple? What does purple mean?
Huh.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
totally.
our first one is green, so you go over and you do your spin attack skill.
Ours is like blue. Like
Right.
mine was like blue. So I was super confused.
And then our middle one is red, so we use our fire sword. And then the last one is like purple. And I was like, what the fuck is purple?
Yeah, ours is
So-
blue, yellowish purple. Yeah, I guess that yellow is like it is kind of
I mean,
purple.
process of elimination, obviously, like this is
Yeah.
the last skill you haven't used, but it was like still like, why is it purple?
Well, like the weird thing is we can't attack with our shield, and like it never really does damage to anybody. It does like one damage. It just blocks stuff. So it's like I never thought to go stand by him
Yeah, that's
What,
kinda
like-
weird.
during the fight to like activate it. And then like when I do stand by him and hit him, it's like it's only doing 1 or 2 damage. I didn't even, I'm like I'm just so confused. Then once I seen the bar actually go down because you stand long enough.
Yeah, that phase 3 was the hardest for me personally, and it was just like I didn't realize that both the little things that the gun things shoot out and him shoot out both like
Grab
stab you
you.
in basically.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple tries there, but then I got it, and that's the end of the game. We didn't really touch base on it, but like essentially he's trying to infuse the real Black Pearl, which is what allowed Solomon Shrine to escape the surface and like restore its like demon essence or some shit. Is that I got that right?
Yeah, something like that. He's like trying to give the pearl a true form.
Yeah, and then after we beat him, Lady Rhea and Lady Fina are like, well, we're going to make it good, but we're going to go into like an internal slumber. They're like, we don't know how long it will last, like, whatever. And then they like convert it to good, basically. And then we have our goodbyes because they're like, oh, like, Unica, you've always been like a little sister to us.
Hmm.
And then,
See, for us,
go ahead.
for us, the goddesses or whatever they're considered, no, whenever you beat Dallas, he mentioned
Our
that
bloodline
our bloodline is like
tainted.
super bad. Some bullshit about our bloodline, and then whenever the goddesses like infuse the Black Pearl or whatever, they kind of tell us like we're pretty fucking good. We're awesome. We're good.
You're more than your bloodline. Like you'll tread your own path, basically.
Yeah, because ours is like, like they purified or whatever, and then they're like, oh, like we're so proud of you, like overcoming your efficiencies, basically. And then, they ask us to bury them like deep underground
With the pearl.
with the pearl. And then, as we go to leave, Unica and a couple characters decide to stay. I don't know I can't remember if Hugo's one of them.
Yeah,
For us,
yeah.
he stays.
Is one for us.
So are you? Your Roy's still alive
Yeah.
in ours.
Oh, Roy's dead in ours.
Yeah, no, you guys stay on the ground.
Yeah, so we stay and we are like, oh, we're gonna rebuild the surface and we want to be close to the goddesses in case they need us. And then the game ends.
Yeah.
I don't remember Hugo's like he was just like I'm gonna stay down here. I'm pretty sure his dad's the one that betrayed everybody. Because his dad's one of the priests, and there's one point where the goddesses are like, we're suspicious about something. And I think it's when they say that they're talking about like his dad.
That's fair. I don't obviously get too much of anything from him because we didn't play as Hugo.
Yeah.
But when you finish the game, you unlock a third character that you can go through the story with, and that is Toll.
So it depends. I guess on PlayStation 4, you have to beat it both times. Like you have to beat it with Unica and Hugo to unlock Toll.
Oh, on Steam, I just had to be at once, and I got access
Yeah.
to Toll.
Yup.
But all right, what were your guys' time to completion? I put both of mine. So Steam tells me it's 13.7 hours. My in-game time is just over 8.5 hours.
So did you go by in-game by like your last save? Is that how
Yeah.
you figured it?
Yeah.
Okay, mine was 9 hours exactly on my last save.
Okay, mine's
and 12 hours in Steam apparently.
Yeah, 13.7 hours in Steam, and then like I said, it's like I think it's like 8 hours and 36 minutes or something is my last save.
So I don't know how to see like the time on PlayStation, but according to my last save, I am at a good old 6 hours and 56 minutes.
Speedrunner
Dan, let's go!
That's what happens when you don't read any of the dialogue. Woo!
I read all the dialogue. I read everything, man.
Lauren, do you know what yours are?
Yeah, I don't know about on the Switch what it said because that's what I played on, but in game it said 8 hours and 57 minutes.
Nice. Tonsa took you the longest. In-game
I think
time.
Yeah, I was like also the highest level, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished at 40. Well, I mean, technically I finished at 50 because after I beat him, I leveled up. Like the final boss.
I have no idea. I was like, I have no idea what I gained from beating him.
So, 50 is what I finished the game at. But, yeah. Do we, you guys have anything else about Ys Origin? I know this is a longer episode, but there was quite a bit to this.
It's good.
It was a good time. Nothing else from you, Dan, Lauren?
I just wanted to ask a question because I don't know anything about Ys. But are the other games like connected at all? Like how connected are they?
This is a prequel. It takes place 700 years before the first game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this like
the world and stuff is connected.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's literally the land of Ys. It's just 700 years in the past. So you'll see in a lot of the newer games, they'll be like I started putting pieces together after playing this. It started making more sense in my brain based on not playing every game yet. But you'll see in the world, there'll be like locations that Adol will go to, and they'll be like, oh, like, you know, there's demon, like, monsters in these areas that you have to clear them out. The one area, I don't know if this is technically the way it is, but there is a giant hole in the ground, and they don't know what it came from because this is obviously much further in the future. So I'm wondering if that's the land where Solomon's Shrine was. But I haven't looked to confirm that.
I'd probably
Yeah, I just know that like this one doesn't follow like Adol's stories, but like almost all the other ones do.
Yeah, it's like his adventures.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, every game besides this one is one book of his adventures, and from what Falcom's like president or whoever said, there's 100 books. So we're only going on to book 10 of 100.
Nice.
Yeah. Could be an interesting world, but let's move on to recommendation. Each episode we go around and we find out if we would recommend the game and why or why not. So starting with Dan, would you recommend this game and why or why not?
Yes, I would recommend it. I don't. I was trying to think of like why, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. I thought it was a fascinating story, kind of a good little adventure game. No, going up the little ladder, well, the tower. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I like the characters. I don't know.
I don't know.
Wow.
Tonsa.
Yeah, it was really good. It definitely, I like want to see the difference in like playing. Like if it's possible for me to go through all of them, even though I know 1 and 2 are drastically gameplay different from this. I know they get like way different long like as they go, but like as this pack of buying them all, it's like the other one's gonna play like an NES like action RPG.
I've only ever played outside of this now. I've played 8, and that was it.
Yeah, I played a bit of 8.
But
yeah, I'm gonna recommend it 100%.
Okay, cool. Lauren, you played this last time, like a long time ago. Obviously, you didn't finish the final boss, but does this hold up? Is it better now? Is it worse now?
I mean, you guys know I'm a big fan of these series. This was my pick. I mean, I still enjoyed it the second time through. It did make it a little easier to get through, knowing how things were. Like, oh, I gotta do this. Some of these bosses, like the centipede boss, I went into that already knowing, like, I had to destroy the spikes on his back, stuff like that. So I thought it made it a little easier and more bearable to go through a second time. I think if I struggled just as hard on all of the bosses, like I did when I originally first tried it, I might not have enjoyed it as much, but I mean, I still liked it.
I think the only thing, if I was you, that I would have done different is I would have done Hugo.
Yeah, I even said that too. I was like, man, I should have just tried it with the other character. I didn't think about it at the time. I was just trying to jump in to get it like started.
And I would also recommend it. I like this one a lot more than I liked 8. I think it's something to do with like the fast-paced action, like combat, and maybe the story's not as strong in this one, but I just like how this one works better. You move up the tower, you fight people along the way, you fight creatures along the way. It's very simple, but like I found myself like attached to it. Like I was able to stream this 8 hours straight. So that tells you what kind of grasp it had on me.
Sure.
So I would recommend this. I don't know what I would recommend it on, though. It ran well on the computer.
Yeah, but see, it was fine. I didn't have any issues.
I didn't have any issues with it either. Lauren didn't seem to have anything on the Switch, and I don't know how Dan's experience with the PS4 was.
I only had problems with Centipede, I think.
Like the game or like you?
Oh, the game.
No. What was the game doing?
Like whenever he would come out of like the ring, like his ring form, he would kind of come down, and then half of his body would like go through the tower, like in the middle, and so it's like I couldn't jump on him because he was glitched through it.
That's
But like besides that, it was kind of it. I think
So
nothing
yeah,
like mine, at least.
I would recommend it on a handheld or PlayStation, but the handheld gave me more of like the feeling of playing the Vita ones and the PSP ones, which are closer to that style. Is if you look at like, I don't know if it's 4 or 5, but when I was playing a little bit of it on the PSP, that's the same like vibe I get from it. I think they do really well on handheld, so I prefer it that way.
Yeah, I liked it on Steam. I didn't have any issues with it, so overall, performance-wise, I think he'd probably be okay on anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, alright, you guys have any type of reviews for this game?
I have one up on my computer currently. So it's 36.5 hours on record. This is on Steam. They recommend it, which is great. But the the comment says, "This game is cool. I wonder what it would be like if French people were real." I was like, what? There's no context. What does that mean?
Are the names considered French?
I don't know. Are they?
So from my understanding of things, I've kind of looked up things about like the whole series thing. I guess Yeast is based off of a French like folklore.
That makes sense.
So they just
So-
wonder if like any of these characters are real.
I guess
I don't even know what that means though in context. Pretty odd. I don't have any reviews. I didn't look anything up review wise because I knew the episode was going to be long, so I didn't want to like have a ton here.
There's not too many reviews that aren't like in depth. There's one that says "Ye sir," like it's a yes sir, ye sir, and then everything else is pretty positive.
Yeah. This one says
Wow.
recommended a thorough evaluation of how bad you are at video games. The
Yeah, well,
music starts pretty great and actually gets better the higher you go up.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about bad at video games. This is some of the most infuriating criminal boss designs I've ever seen in a video game. The Bat Demon boss is the very definition of anti-fun. I can't imagine the limited window vulnerability. Who's like, it just goes on this thing. It's like if you didn't beat that boss on either one, like and they played 8 hours of the game. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, yikes.
They must be bad then.
That's what I'm saying. Like the other person, they talk about like skill or whatever, and it's like he just is ranting about that boss. So I don't think he ever beat that boss.
I wonder how hard this game is on Nightmare.
Oh,
Probably
probably
pretty hard.
extremely hard.
Because I played on normal,
Yeah, that's why I played it on too.
Same.
and it was difficult at times.
Yeah.
Good for reviews.
Yeah, there's no like real fun ones, and that was the only negative one. They were stuck on the bat boss, which is pretty sad.
It's sad. Get good. All right, Tonsa, you have the pick. Our game pick for the month of November. So how about you tell us what we're going to play and why you chose it, and explain how you're going to choose this.
All right, so I did it while we were just talking here. I had 12 games listed, just in like Notepad, because my original pick didn't go because it didn't fall in the criteria anymore because it's not on Game Pass. So I just picked 12 games that were under 10 hours or just maybe a little bit over, a little bit less, and I just did a number generator. And whatever number I got twice out of the 12, is what I'm picking. And the game is Moonlighter, which is
Okay, I know what this is.
Yeah, it's like a roguelike, opening like you dungeon crawl during the day or the night, and then you open and run a shop during the day. You guys actually got it for me for Christmas a couple years back. I never finished it. I only beat the first area, and there's like 4 or 5 big areas. It says it's right around 10 hours. I think that would just depend on like you, because like you have to figure out the market value of things to sell. Like if you
Stardew Valley.
if you gather stuff from like the dungeon, you have to like determine which thing. Which I will tell you, this is just anybody who, if they decide to play it a little while, things can go up. If something is like, they're like, oh yeah, like, because you'll see them. They think they're like, they rip you off. They're like, they'll have like a little emoticons next to them. And if it's like star eyes, like this is the best deal ever, it's like, oh man, you're probably getting ripped off really bad. It took me a while to figure that out. But that's the game for my pick. Yeah, which it's funny because like I was gonna pick a lot of things I was originally looking at were like horror stuff, and then I found stuff because I was like, I don't really want to play a horror game in November, and then I found other stuff, and then I did this, and now we're here.
Well, that works out. I already own it, so
Same. It's also on Game Pass
Oh, yeah.
it's on like every thing ever.
platform. Yeah, it's I kind of stick when I pick games. One, I'm also broke, but like games are easy enough for everybody to have. Game Pass, or How Long to Beat says it's around 13 hours, but I feel like that's still probably fine.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Any say on this, Dan, Lauren?
No. I suck at roguelikes, but I'll give it a shot.
You'll live.
You'll leave. All right. Great. I had a lot of fun today talking about Yee's origin on NLGC. But before we go, we wanted to share where you can find us online.
First, we have a YouTube channel called Nerdlag where we'll be uploading some great content. So make sure to subscribe for the latest videos. We have a Facebook page at Nerdlag Game Club. Make sure to like the page so you can get the latest news about the podcast. You can also find us over on Twitter at Nerdlag, where we share some of the latest gaming news and stuff we find interesting. And lastly, we have a Discord at Nerdlag where you can talk to us in voice chat and join in some discussion about everything nerdy like video games, anime, movies, and chat with like-minded people. If you would like to join, ask for an invite. We also want to thank everyone that tuned in for this episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with your friends. And also follow us on Spotify. It really helps.
On to the final credits. At the end of each episode, we just take a couple minutes and talk about anything we've been playing, any gaming news we want to talk about, or just Nerdlag in general. Is there any guys you want to start off with, or should we go straight to Dan?
Go straight to Dan.
Dan, you know what time it is.
There's been no raft update.
We've been playing Overwatch 2.
Yeah. We got ranked.
Yeah, we did get ranked. They got ranked the highest, I think, right?
Yep. I'm great.
Top 2.
We played last night and went on a straight losing streak. Nobody knew how to play, and it was so frustrating. So I just needed 2 wins.
Dude, the one game, me and Adam were healers, like support, and our DPSs kept yelling at us because we weren't like healing and doing anything. And then we lost, and then he started blaming Tonsa, which was the tank, and not us anymore. And it was like, this guy doesn't know who to like blame for this, even though like it was definitely his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that my mic was muted that entire time. I was bitching up a storm because he's like spending half his time just messaging.
Yep.
I don't have a whole lot.
Dan's been playing Call of Duty and playing Resident Evil.
Yes. Well, it finished Resident Evil. Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village. Beat them both.
Just in time for the DLC, right?
Yeah.
From watching you play those, 7's the better game.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree.
Just in terms of like core scariness, I think 7 is better.
Yeah, 8, like especially towards the end.
Village has like more of a huge story compared to 7.
Well, 8 just reminded me of like an action game, especially at the end.
Yeah. Yep.
Lauren,
The DLC looks a bit like
What's up?
actiony too.
did you have anything you want to talk about?
Um,
Did you want to talk about Nana at all?
Nana is the new anime I'm obsessed with. I binged through all 50 episodes within probably a week, and I started listening to the soundtrack on Spotify. So I've been listening to that at work, in my car, etc. And then I ordered all the manga for it, and I was looking at figures for it, and yeah, it was a mess.
God, you're a weeb as I caught up on One Piece. Well, I caught up to dub One Piece.
Oh yeah, see? No. I literally did not watch a single other show until I finished it. And then I had to play games and at work, and my life's been so just crazy. Oh, and
So
I got a new desk that Corey and Tonsa put together for me.
That did happen.
The second one was fun.
Yeah, we speed ran the second desk.
Yeah, it was nice. I got a nice big L-shaped desk like I have at work, and that's awesome. And I did get a glass shelf, but one of the sides were shattered, so I still gotta take that back. But it's my game room's coming along eventually. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've just been streaming the GameCube games, and that's pretty much it. Nothing really crazy to talk about for me. Just been a little busy as of recent.
And Tonsa's just Tonsa.
Yeah, same
Tons
old
is
thing.
tons of.
Jumping between games, and that's
You
about
play-
it. We played Overwatch last night.
Besides that, man. Besides that.
Sometimes I beat a game last month.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
besides
just-
the podcast game, it's like 3-4 days ago.
Yep.
All
I'm playing a game right now.
Oh, okay. All right. It's
All
getting
right,
hostile
anyway.
in here.
Yeah.
All right. So I had fun having this little extra time at the end of this episode, but I think it's time for us to install the next game and get ready for the next episode. So thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
But goodbye.
Bye.